Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be doing our final mock draft for the 2021 NFL Draft. Now hopefully no big trades go down by the time I'm doing this, because if you guys have been paying attention, you would see right here the Ravens traded Orlando Brown to the Kansas City Chiefs for their first round pick and some other things in return. But we're going to go ahead and get right into this mock draft. This will be my last one. Now this could be kind of more what I would do at the positions with some predictions going along. Now, first off, Trevor Lawrence is pretty easy. I don't think anyone's really arguing whether or not Trevor Lawrence will go here. That's number one. Now, number two, I saw someone tweet there like, what if the Jets never, because it's kind of just assumed that the Jets, Zach Wilson's their guy, but what if they really aren't? It would throw up a lot of mock drafts, but I personally still think Zach Wilson's number two. I think they're still in on him. He's the best thrower of the football, as a lot of people like to say, in this entire draft. So he's going number two with the most talent there at quarterback outside of Trevor Lawrence. Now, number three, a lot of reports have been coming down. Basically, it's between Trey Lance and Mac Jones is what we've heard from the 49ers at this point. Now, the report that came out this morning is that Shanahan is a fan of Mac Jones, but the scouting department is a fan of Trey Lance. So it's really a question of who's going to win that battle there between Mac Jones and Trey Lance. I just think Trey Lance has such a higher upside, and his talent is just so much greater than Mac Jones. I don't see how you can pass. Plus, if a front office likes a guy, they'll go that route over a coach, because front office has last say. And I know Shanahan's probably closer with that front office than some teams like the Eagles. But in general, I think that the front office can get what they want in Trey Lance. I mean, if anyone can develop Trey Lance, it's going to be Kyle Shanahan. So we're going to go Trey Lance, number three, to the San Francisco 49ers over Mac Jones. Now, number four, this is really going to be the most pivotal spot in the draft, I believe, because there's two ways they can go. They can either just draft themselves, and then if they do, there's two routes. They can either go with Justin Fields or get themselves a weapon in Pitts or Chase. Now, the other thing that could change the draft entirely is if they do want to trade back. Now, the main teams that I would be looking at if they were to trade back would probably be Denver would be the most likely, because they're already here at 9. They wouldn't have to give up too much. Now, some other teams that would love to trade up that might have to give up a lot, we're looking here at the New England Patriots, the Washington Football Team, or the Chicago Bears, but that would be a lot to get up to 4 for them. So I don't think they're going to. So really it's whether or not the Broncos are going to trade up. With Trey Lance off the board, I think this might scare the Broncos, because the Broncos might be sitting there to say, hey, if Mac Jones goes at 3, odds are Trey Lance or Justin Fields are going to fall to us. But with Trey Lance going, the Broncos have shown that they want to upgrade the quarterback. They've been involved in the Carson Wentz and the Matthew Stafford trade rumors. They might have even been involved in the Sam Darnold, I don't know, but they've shown they want to upgrade at quarterback. And with the Falcons sitting here at 4, I think they're going to get scared seeing Trey Lance go, and I'm going to have the Broncos making a move with Atlanta to come up and go ahead and get themselves their quarterback of the future. There we go. They're flipping up. Broncos get pick number 4, and I believe they're going to go Justin Fields, quarterback from Ohio State. Some people have some worries. He's still a great quarterback, great athlete, the most accurate quarterback in this class, which would fit well with Denver. They already got some great weapons. He's been in big games. He doesn't have to start right away if they want to still go with Drew Lock to begin the season. So that's a great move for Denver. You got to get your quarterback. I know some people are right with Drew Lock, but just Drew Lock's not the answer. You guys got to you've seen enough. What more do you have to see from Drew Lock to see that he's not enough? You've given him 2.5 seasons now. I don't know what else you need. Now, moving on to the Cincinnati Bengals at number 5. This really comes down to these 3 guys right here, Jamar Chase, Kyle Pitts, and Penei Sewell. Now, I personally would go Penei Sewell, but what I'm seeing is a lot of that Jamar Chase is the favorite. He played with Joe Burrow. The Eagles supposedly traded out of 6 because they thought Jamar Chase was going to go here. So we're going to go Jamar Chase, not a bad pick at all. Get yourself a great receiver. That receiving core is going to be great with Joe Burrow, who already has chemistry with Jamar Chase. That would be a home run pick definitely for the Cincinnati Bengals. Now moving on to pick number 6, we have the Miami Dolphins, who traded up to get here. And when you trade up, you only get yourself a generational player. I'm going to have them going Kyle Pitts, maybe the best position player in the entire draft class, a difference maker for Tua in that offense. He's an insane athlete. I think he could go 4 if the Falcons stay on the board. I think that's who they pick. But with the Falcons trading out, he's going to fall to number 6. Now moving on to the board, number 7, the Detroit Lions, and a kind of little like 1 year rebuild, or 1 year just kind of tank year where they're probably not going to do much this year and get their quarterback in next year's draft class, as they'll probably be picking in the top 2. So we're going to go ahead and get yourselves a franchise tackle, one of the most important positions in the league. Penei Sewell will be there for 10 years, you hope. Worst comes to worst, you get a Laramie Tunsil deal and you get 2 first-round picks flipping him in the future. That's really just such a safe pick for the Detroit Lions, and I think that's a great pick if they are to stay there at 7. They're another trade-out situation. 7 and 8 could both be trade-out situations. If a team really likes Mac Jones, or if the top goes different and a guy like Justin Fields or Trey Lance is available, this is when you'd be more likely to see a team like New England, Washington, or Chicago try and jump up to 7 or 8 and get their guy. Personally, I'm not going to have any team trading up to 7, 8. I was thinking the Patriots could try and trade up and grab Mac Jones. That's a definite possibility. But realistically, if no one else trades to 8, none of these teams before the Patriots are going to pick a quarterback. So I don't see the need for them. But there is one other team that I haven't mentioned that I'm going to have a surprise trade. There's an arms race going on in the NFL right now. And especially, we've seen already in the AFC West, there's an arms race. You have Patrick Mahomes and Justin Herbert leading high-fire offenses. The Broncos got their weapons. Now they get their guy in Justin Fields. High-power offenses. There's one team that's lacking behind in this arms race, and that is the Las Vegas Raiders. I am going to have the Carolina Panthers trading back with the Las Vegas Raiders at 17, who are going to come up and get themselves their quarterback in Mac Jones. Now, I know you say they have Derek Carr. I think they're ready to move on from Derek Carr. You've already seen that there's rumors about them trading. Plus, it never hurts to bring in a guy. Mac Jones can sit for a year and have him. He seems like a very kind of Mike Mayock, Las Vegas Raiders kind of guy. They've drafted a lot of those winners, those champions. If you look back, Josh Jacobs, Clelin Ferrell, Damon Arnett last year. There are a lot of guys that are just winners, all played in playoffs, big games. That's Mac Jones for you. He's still a good quarterback. He just doesn't have the physical traits of the other guys. That's why I have them higher. But I think a lot of NFL teams might be higher on Mac Jones than people like myself and other people in the media. So I have the Las Vegas Raiders going up to grab themselves their quarterback to compete in the AFC West arms race. Mac Jones at number 8. Now we have the Atlanta Falcons after trading back on the board. There's rumors about them possibly trading Julio Jones, and that could be because it's such a stacked wide receiver class. So I'm going to have them going Jalen Waddle here. And even if Julio Jones doesn't go, that's still just a great receiver to add to your arsenal and just a hell of a player for the Falcons. Now, number 10, the Cowboys. There's actually a report this morning that they're zeroing in on Patrick Surtain. That's my favorite player for them, too. I think he'd be a great fit there. They're just going to rebuild that Alabama secondary in Dallas with Trayvon Diggs across from Patrick Surtain. That's a home run pick. Best corner in the class. You're getting him right there at 10 for the Cowboys. Now, the New York Giants on the board. A lot of people, it's really between Devonta Smith, Rashawn Slater, maybe throwing a linebacker like Micah Parsons or J.O.K. But I personally can go Rashawn Slater. That O-line needs some help. Rashawn Slater can play guard or tackle. Probably slide in at guard his first year or two there, and then maybe slide out into tackle later if you need. That O-line needs help. Give Daniel Jones all the help he can, all the most time. Daniel Jones is awful under pressure. He's awful at seeing pressure, lots of fumbles. Get that O-line, make sure he's not under pressure. That's your number one priority if you're the New York Giants. Now, the Eagles are here at pick 12. The Philadelphia Eagles, to me, this is really a two-horse race between Devonta Smith and J.C. Horn. Personally, I want to see what Jalen Hurts can do, and so we're going to give Jalen Hurts every opportunity to succeed. We're going to go ahead and give him Devonta Smith. Played with him for a year in college, has a connection. They said they've been talking in the whole offseason. This would be one of the dream picks for the Eagles. They trade down to 12 and still get one of the top wideouts in the draft class. Devonta Smith, there's a risk with his weight. People are scared about it, but we've seen the upside. We've seen he can ball. I think that's a home run pick at pick 12. Now, number 13, the Los Angeles Chargers, little upset that Slater went 2 picks before them. But they're sitting here, you got to go O-line. I mean, you have to help out Justin Herbert. I don't think this is an argument. They're going to go Christian Darrisaw, who's probably the second best tackle if you consider Slater a guard, or the third best tackle if you're considering Slater a tackle. But yeah, he's just a plug and play. He'll be there day one. You need to help Justin Herbert. We've seen what's happened with Russell Wilson and Joe Burrow already. You don't want to wait on O-line. When you're here at 13, you might not be there a lot in the future. Get yourself a bona fide starting tackle in Christian Darrisaw at 13. Now, 14 is where it starts to get interesting. These picks there's not a lot of argument, a lot of these, except for this Mac Jones pick probably. But when you get down to 14, this is when it could go a lot of ways. They definitely need O-line. Elijah Vera Tucker is definitely a possibility here. Edge rusher, Danielle Hunter is requesting a trade. So, they could definitely go Kwity Paye, or my number one edge rusher is Jalen Phillips. If you haven't, go check out my edge rusher video. I did the top 5 edge rushers in the class and broke down all 5 of these guys right here. Jalen Phillips is my number one, so I would go him if I was going edge. Could go J.C. Horn, get some more help at corner. I personally think it's really between O-line and D-line, whether or not you want to go Jalen Phillips or Elijah Vera Tucker. I am personally going to go Jalen Phillips because I think getting a pass rusher is so important. And if Danielle Hunter really does want to trade, they already have nothing opposite of Danielle Hunter. Nonetheless, if Danielle Hunter's gone, they have absolutely nothing at D-line. You can make up for O-line with different schemes, but if you have no pass rush, you're screwed. You can't do anything about it. So I'm getting Jalen Phillips, my number one edge rusher in this class, at number 14. Now, pick 15. The Patriots missed out on the quarterback class. They weren't able to trade up and get their guy. So they're sitting here. J.C. Horn would be a perfect scheme fit. He would fit exactly what Bill Belichick loves to do. He would definitely be a great option. Or you get yourself, they still need help on the edge. Kwity Paye, get themselves another Michigan edge rusher, or Micah Parsons would fit well. I'm personally going to go J.C. Horn. I think corner is such an important position, and they've shown to value it, and they have J.C. Jackson is on the 1-year tender. Stephon Gilmore, there's rumors he could be traded, so J.C. Horn just gives you more versatility, and he's literally a perfect scheme fit. If I could pick any team in the league for J.C. Horn to go to, it would be New England. Now moving on to pick number 16, the Cardinals, yet again upset that J.C. Horn just went. They really want him. I'm going to get them still another corner with Pat Pecan. I think they're a team that could take a risk on Caleb Farley. Arguably the number one, not even arguably, he's probably the number one talented corner in this class, but a lot of back issues, which is never good. He's had 2 back surgeries in the last 2 years, especially after not even playing this last year, having another back surgery. It's not a good thing to see. He was scary on if he'll play or not, but if he does play, he is probably the number one corner in this class. So the Cardinals take a risk here at number 16, getting Caleb Farley. You got to with Pat Pecan. You don't really have a lot at corner. That's a great pick, I think, with a lot of high upside, just risking that injury. Now here we have the Panthers back on the board after trading out of pick number 8 with the Las Vegas Raiders. Now, this is actually an incredible situation for the Panthers because they trade out, and actually the person I've had going a couple times to the Panthers is Micah Parsons. They trade out, probably get an extra first-round pick at least from that trade out, and still get themselves Micah Parsons. He'd be a great fit in that defense. Be your next Luke Kuechly to run that defense behind another guy like Derek Brown you drafted last year. Keep shoring up that defense. They went in on offense with the Sam Darnold trade. They have great weapons on offense already. Get yourself a middle linebacker, the best in the class, Micah Parsons at 17. Now pick number 18. We have the Miami Dolphins back on the board after getting themselves Kyle Pitts at number 6. Now, personally, one of my favorite fits in the entire draft class is actually, one of my favorite fits would be Zaven Collins to the Dolphins. I think that's a great scheme fit, but 18's a little too rich to go Zaven Collins, so they could trade back, but I don't know who would trade up for anyone at this point unless someone really loves Kwity Paye. So I'm not going to have them trading back just because I also don't like trading up for non-quarterbacks. It rarely ever works trading up for a quarterback. Nonetheless, a non-quarterback, that's just even harder. I think I'm going to go ahead and just help. You need more O-line help. So it's either between Tevin Jenkins or Elijah Vera Tucker. I'm actually going to go Tevin Jenkins. He could play right tackle day one for them. I love Elijah Vera Tucker. I just think Tevin Jenkins at tackle is very important. Even Elijah Vera Tucker could slide in guard or tackle. Keep helping Tua. I know you drafted guys. Robert Hunt can slide into guard and get Tevin Jenkins right tackle day one. He'll be a great guy in the run game. He's a complete mauler. I love that pick for the Dolphins. Now pick number 19, the Washington football team. I'm going to have them going Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. I think he's a great fit for that defense. You're going to be rushing 4 all the time. You have one of the best D-lines in the league. You don't need to rush your linebackers. So you need your linebackers to be able to play coverage when you're rushing 4. JOK's that absolute joker player. He can play linebacker, slot, corner, safety, whatever you need. Great fit, fly around everywhere for that defense. And he'd love playing behind that defensive front that they have in Washington. Now, pick number 20, the Chicago Bears. This is one of my favorite fits in the draft. They just lost Kyle Fuller. They need some help at corner. I'm going to go with Greg Newsome, cornerback from Northwestern, rising on a lot of boards. Greg Newsome's an incredible player. He's great in some of those zone schemes where he's got everything in front of him. You can see the quarterback in play. He ran way faster than people thought at his pro day. That 40 time was great. Plus, he's a longer dude. Great fit in there. They just lost Kyle Fuller. You need to help out that defense. Now, I know you want to go receiver, and definitely receiver wouldn't be wrong. But you still have Allen Robinson for one more year. Plus, Mooney's playing good. I do think you should attack wide receiver in the future. But you might be all right this year, but you definitely do need a guy at corner. So that's why you get Greg Newsome. Now, 21, the Colts. This is one of the harder picks in the draft I've been thinking a lot about. But we've seen in the past, Carson Wentz has never had a great receiver, and that's part of his struggle. So we're going to go ahead and get them a great receiver, and I'm going to go ahead and go with Rashad Bateman, who I think is my number 4 receiver in this draft class. Incredible route runner. He's going to get open. A lot of comparisons to Keenan Allen. He gets open quick, great feet, great releases. That's what you get from a guy like Rashad Bateman. And Carson Wentz will love him. Pair him across from Michael Pittman. They definitely need another receiver in that room, so that'd be another incredible pick. Now moving on to pick number 22, the Tennessee Titans. Now, the Tennessee Titans lost damn near all of their defense, and they lost their first-round pick last year in Isaiah Wilson, who's actually a rapper now. He's awful, but he's a rapper now, if you didn't know, after Dancing on Cars. But moving on into this pick, corner would be great for them. I just don't see any of these other guys as really first-round guys. I could see maybe Eric Stokes sneaking into the first round if a team loves him. Other than that, though, I don't see any other first-round guys. They don't really need safety, although I love Trayvon Mulrig. They could definitely go linebacker. They could use some help. I just don't think Elijah Vera Tucker is a player I'm leaning towards right now. I don't think Pat Freiermuth is really a first-round kind of guy. I think O-line is really where they want to go. You missed on Isaiah Wilson. You're still going to be pounding the rock behind Derrick Henry. Elijah Vera Tucker really shouldn't be here on 22, but he is here, so I'm going to go with him. The best guard, best interior guy in the class. Played tackle in college, so he could play tackle in the NFL, but he probably schemes more to a guard. People are saying he could already be an all-pro guard. He's got those tools. Now, pick number 23, the New York Jets. They were hoping Greg Newsome fell to them because I love that fit, too, with Greg Newsome to the Jets, but he didn't. So they're going to go here, and they're going to get on some people's boards. They're going to go ahead and get the number 1 edge rusher on some people's boards. Kwity Paye definitely needs someone to pair across from Carl Lawson here in New York. Kwity Paye is an excellent edge rusher. All the physical tools you could hope for in the world with some good production at Michigan. That's a home run pick for the New York Jets at 23. Going to get him to pair with Zach Wilson. That's a great first round. Now moving on to pick number 24, the Pittsburgh Steelers. They definitely need O-line help. No way to say their O-line already struggled running the ball last year. They lost, I believe, 3 starters. They need a guy who can play inside and out. And for that, in that case, I'm going to go ahead and get themselves Jalen Mayfield. He's great, can play right tackle for you, can play guard. He can play really wherever you need him on the offensive line. Great, versatile offensive lineman. I think he'd be a great fit and be able to play whatever Pittsburgh wants him and really help that run game, because as much as you may want a running back, the running game starts in the trenches. Your running back can't go anywhere if there's no holes. Jalen Mayfield will help open those holes for whoever is running back, because it's kind of a deeper running back class. I like some of the guys later. Michael Carter, Kenneth Gainwell, Khalil Herbert, Chuba Hubbard. I like some of the guys later that you can go get. Don't chase a Najee Harris or Etienne at pick 24. It's not worth it. Now, pick 25, one of the favorite picks I have in this class. I go almost every time because I just love the fit. Trayvon Mulrig here at 25 to the Jacksonville Jaguars. I love Trayvon Mulrig, the best safety by far in this class to me. The only guy with a first-round grade for me. I think he'd be a home run pick. Jacksonville Jaguars need almost anything they can get at this point on their team. So go ahead and get yourself one of the best players on the board in Trayvon Mullen, best safety in the class. Now, pick 26, coming up, the Cleveland Browns. And before, I really liked the Azeez Ojulari pick here. Now, Jadeveon Clowney's not on a long deal, so even with the Jadeveon Clowney, they could still go there. But I'm actually going to have them going the other way, and I'm going to have them getting D-tackle number 1, still helping that D-line, Christian Barmore. Some people are really high on Christian Barmore. Some people I've heard are really low on Barmore. So I've heard some reports about he's not very coachable. Now, that could be a huge issue if throughout the interview process a team found that out, and that might even cross him off their board. But I think Christian Barmore is a stud. I think he could easily go in the teens. He's a great defensive tackle, number 1 in this class by far. Another kind of like the safeties. I don't see any other D-tackle first round. I've heard Levi Onwuzurike could sneak in the first round. Maybe he sneaks in the end of this first round, but I see him more as an early day 2, mid day 2 pick, whereas Christian Barmore is a bona fide round 1 pick. Now, 27, the Baltimore Ravens on the board for the first of their 2 picks. Now, they lost out on a lot of their edge rushers with Judon hitting free agency and Yannick Ngakoue piecing out the door to get more money elsewhere. So I'm going to have them going ahead and getting Azeez Ojulari. He can play that nice stand-up outside edge rusher that they love. He's the best pure pass rusher. I have him as my number 2 edge rusher in this class. The best pure pass rusher in the game. He's a bit lighter, but with their scheme, he'll get covered up more in the run game, especially with great linebacker play in Baltimore. So he'll be a great fit, just purely be able to rush the passer in Baltimore and help that defense out after losing some pass rushers to free agency. Now, moving on to pick number 28, we have the New Orleans Saints here on the board. I think the New Orleans Saints could go a couple ways. Gregory Rousseau, I'm not a fan of him. Zaven Collins could definitely be a pick. I'm going to go ahead and get themselves a weapon, though. I think they need a weapon. Looking at the guys who are still on the board, I think I'm going to go... See, the thing is, if I were on the board for this, I'm taking Elijah Moore. I love Elijah Moore. I think he can play outside or inside. Kind of like a Emmanuel Sanders or a Tyler Lockett, smaller guy that I still think can be very successful on the outside. But I've heard a lot of people in the league love Kadarius Toney. Now, I'm going to do what I would do. I'm going to go Elijah Moore. I think Elijah Moore is better than Kadarius Toney. The only thing is when you watch Kadarius Toney's tape, he's a difference maker after the catch. Don't get me wrong. But if you look at all of his tape, it's all slant routes, short routes. I don't know. He doesn't have much of a route tree. I think he's definitely going to have a learning curve. He's definitely a high-risk, high-reward kind of player. Whereas the Saints get themselves Elijah Moore, who I think is going to be a stud no matter what. Now pick 29, the Packers. Everyone wants them to go for that wide receiver, but they usually don't. But at the same time, they usually don't draft a quarterback in the first round either. I think I'm going to have them going out and getting themselves Kadarius Toney, a difference maker and a playmaker. I just talked about him. Usually Green Bay doesn't draft receivers, but this could be the year that they finally do, so they get themselves Kadarius Toney at 29. Now the Buffalo Bills are on the clock. Bills could use O-linemen definitely. They could use a corner definitely. They could use help at edge for sure. They could even use a running back, but I'm not going to go running back. I personally hate running backs in the first round. The value just isn't there, especially with a deeper running back class. I like some of the guys later on in this class. So at pick 30, Jason Oway is definitely enticing right now. He is he's my number 4 pass rusher, just a freak athlete. Corner, I would love to go corner. I just don't think any of these guys. Eric Stokes could maybe slide into the slot and be a good guy. I could see Eric Stokes as the pick here. But for me, I think you need to help out your edge rusher. Get Jason Oway, a freak of an athlete. Get him in there and just help out that D-line in every way you can. Now moving on to pick number 31, the Baltimore Ravens. They're back up on the board after getting themselves Azeez Ojulari just earlier. They're laughing because they're getting themselves Terrence Marshall. Great fit for what they need. Tall guy, really fast, gets open down the field. He's going to be a dream receiver for Lamar Jackson. He's a great receiver. Perfect pick for the Ravens. If they can get out of the first round, Azeez Ojulari and Terrence Marshall, that's a great first round for the Baltimore Ravens. Now pick number 32, last pick in the first round for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They can really go wherever. They don't really have a lot of needs. They just go best available. They could, however, use some help on the O-line, but just as depth. But looking at the best players available, I could see them going Najee Harris, just kind of like what the Chiefs did last year. I don't think they should, so I'm not going to go there. But I could see Najee Harris or Travis Etienne being the pick here. Zaven Collins wouldn't be a bad pick at all. They've shown they value linebackers. They have 2 great linebackers, but we don't know how long they'll be there for. Cosme would definitely be a good pick, just a depth tackle that could definitely play. Landon Dickerson, probably the best center in this class. Not probably. It's debatable. Some teams really like Creed Humphrey. So it's hard to say who the best in the class is. I definitely would like attacking D-line depth, whether that's interior or... You know what? I'm going to have them going Levi and Wuzuriki. We don't know how much longer Ndamukong Suh is going to be there. I've heard he could sneak in the first round. Very versatile. Won a lot of the one-on-one reps at the Senior Bowl, which isn't like a necessity, but it's good to see. Go ahead and beef up that interior D-line. Get him paired next to another Washington D-tackle there in Tampa. This is the first round. Let me know what picks you guys loved, what picks you guys hated. I know there were some interesting ones. You Raider fans are probably going to hate me, but you never know. We'll have to wait till trade day. This is going to be my last mock draft before going into the draft on Thursday. I can't wait for the draft. We're going to see what actually unfolds after all these mock drafts. Mock drafts are so honestly stupid if you think about them, because no one has any idea what's going on and what teams are really thinking. But they're just so fun. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.